Hi everyone. This is the first of the semester's weekly messages. So every week towards the beginning of the week, either on Sunday or Monday, I'll send out a quick weekly message. The length will vary, it depends on what's going on. And basically the goal of these weekly messages is to, encourage you a little bit, especially since we're not seeing each other every class. I think it's kind of important that we kind of keep in touch somehow. Basically, it'll be a reminder of what's coming up that week. Also, I'll take advantage of these weekly messages to respond to any kind of common student questions or concerns or problems that came up the week before. So I figure, a lot of students sometimes struggle with the same things, but not all students actually reach out for help. So if I have several students asking about the same thing, chances are there are 10 or 12 or 15 others sitting there struggling with the same thing who have not reached out. So I'll address some of those things in these weekly messages to clear things up, and I'll end up with a fun song that fits the coming week's theme. That's something I like to do in class. Usually, as students are trickling in, there's usually a song playing. So for this week, first reminder, we're all going to meet tomorrow, Monday, January 28th, for our first class at our class time on Leia Zoom. This is the only actual class we're going to have of the semester where we're all together. As we go through the semester, if we agree that that would be fun for the last class, we might do that, but definitely the first class. So look for the link in What's New, that little What's New box on your Omnivox homepage. I look forward to meeting you all there. Then on Thursday, we'll have our first open Zoom chat during our class time. Now, this is just a reminder that this is optional, so you're not all expected to be there, but it is open to everyone who does want to come to those discussions. Like I've said a few times in different documents, if you haven't looked at the About documents yet, I suggest you do that before tomorrow's class. These Thursday discussions are, they're optional, where we're just going to address questions that students have, and you need to come to 5 of them as an active participant to get points for that component of the mark. And if you haven't looked at it yet, I suggest you look at the document called About the Zoom Discussions. It's under Distributed Documents in Leia under the Basics. You'll see it's divided into sections and the basics. So in terms of learning activities for this week, the reading is chapter 1 from the textbook, and there's already a PowerPoint. Again, on distributed documents, you'll see there's a section entitled Weekly Materials, and that's where I'll put the weekly PowerPoints that go along with what you're reading in the textbook. And there's a little video lecture that goes with it where there's extra information because I can't fit it all on the slides. The link to that is in the first slide. It's always going to be in the first slide of the PowerPoint. So once you've done the reading and you've looked at the PowerPoint, looked at the lecture, then you can do the quiz for week 1, which is already up on My Daylight. So if any of this confuses you, yes, there's a textbook. If you haven't checked it out yet, see the slides on About the textbook under the Basics on Leia under Distributed Documents. That'll tell you how to get the textbook, and if there's information there about financial accessibility as well. So if you if you can't afford the textbook right now, there's a way to get it. So if you're still encountering problems, let me know. For access to the weekly quizzes and an explanation of how they work, again, there's a document on this among the million documents that I uploaded late last week. It's called About the Weekly Quizzes, and again, it's under the Basics in Distributed Documents. So I hope that the idea is that this week's activities, the reading, the PowerPoint, the quiz itself is a learning activity. So it'll give you a taste of what's to come this semester in terms of the kinds of material that we're going to address. If reading's overwhelming for you, there's a text-to-speech function of the online textbook. That's one advantage of it being online. And if your Wi-Fi is limited, there's also something there where you can download a chunk of the book at a time. So you can download chapter one, then undownload it. It only lets you download a certain section at a time. So there are instructions on that in the left sidebar of the textbook. Like I said, text to speech. You can highlight. You can create your own notes. It's really actually very good. So to get things going, if you click here, there's a fun little song that I found about anthropology to get things going, and I do that. I'm going to try to do that every week, usually something to do with the theme of that week. So if at some point you see what, the readings that are coming up, and you see that you can think of a song that's on theme, send it my way and I'll include it in the weekly mail out. Even if it's later, I can always say, oh hey, this is touches on what we were talking about a week before or a couple of weeks before. Some of the songs that you're going to see are things that students in the past have suggested to me, because you're way cooler than I am and you're up to speed on all the recent music, and most of my stuff is from the 70s and 80s, sometimes 90s. So enjoy, and I'll see you soon.